from a commercial, from a promotion point of view, I think we did a great job and it was such a success. And then on the pitch, I think the results spoke for themselves.
Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast, The Bold Tackle. We are your hosts, Sophie Howard and Oliver Howard, and we are ready to tackle bold topics in sport,
highlight the women's football industry,
and speak about the unspoken.
If you are ready to get an insight into what really goes on behind the scenes, join us on our journey and listen in
to The Bold Tackle. Hi and welcome back to a new episode of our podcast, The Bold Tackle. Hi Soph, lovely to have you back. Whereas today I should maybe be saying, lovely I'm allowed to be back.
Yeah, welcome back, Ollie. Obviously, I thoroughly missed you last episode, but I thought I carried the team pretty well. And it was a very different but very enjoyable episode. But welcome back, Ollie.
I was allowed to edit it, so I saw the episode in full length, and you could really see the chemistry between you, Janina, and Lena, which is lovely to see, because I imagine if the chemistry is good on a project like this, where everybody's not really used to be in a situation like that, it must be even better on the pitch.
Oh, absolutely. As you could tell, the episode was full of laughter and jokes. Just, I guess, our silly selves. The girls were a little bit nervous when I asked them if they would mind jumping in and helping out. I think they were looking forward to it and were excited. They were also slightly nervous. In the end, I just told them to be themselves and it'd all be fine. And it worked out, I guess.
Well, they did a great job. I hope people did enjoy the episode. Maybe they can give us some feedback on if they want other players on the episode and if they want me to be out or in of the podcast. No, please don't tell me about that. Otherwise, I don't have a job anymore here. But you did great, Soph. How's your week been?
It's been crazy, really. We've had so much to do in the last week and a half, 2 weeks since arriving. It absolutely flew by. You know how it goes. They always say time flies when you're having fun, and it absolutely flew by. The fact that we had 2 big games in the last 2 weeks and so many different events is actually incredible how much we fit in.
You talked a little bit about what you did in the first half of the week last week. How's it been since then? Because the focus was especially on the 2 games, I imagine.
Yeah, the latter part of the trip was more the games. Obviously, the first part was all the PR appearances that we spoke about, a little bit of downtime and the training preparation for the game. Yeah, and then the second part, obviously, the focus was the 2 games, which were quite successful, I guess.
Were they?
I believe so, yeah. Even though we lost the first game, we held a very strong side to a draw, to a 0-0 until obviously the 90 minutes were done, and then we lost on penalties, which can always happen. To be honest, they had very good penalty takers. I myself missed mine, and in the end we lost on penalties, but I think we can be proud of the performance that we put in across the 90 minutes.
Penalties always a 50-50 chance. Obviously the striker has a little bit more options than the goalkeeper has, or he obviously needs to react. Talk us a little bit through the feeling when you walk up to a penalty. Obviously, the situation's a little bit different in a friendly than in a proper game or in a cup game or something. But talk us through your feelings on that day.
I was quite confident, to be honest. I'd taken a few the week before. Yanni and I always play a game after training, and we take a few, or I take a few after every session. And even over here in Australia, I took a few the day before. And I knew where I was going. And it was just a matter of I didn't execute it 100%. To be honest, it was an excellent save from the keeper. It kind of all went as planned. She saved it really, really well. And it was a matter of centimetres, I think.
And then there's nothing you can do about it. Hat off to the goalkeeper for saving it.
Yeah, exactly. So as much as I was disappointed, I also, I guess, shook it off quite quickly because, as you said, it's a 50-50 chance. The keeper did a really good job. I stuck to kind of my guts, and I always do the same thing in penalties until the keeper knows, and then I change and play a few mind games. But I've got a routine when I go up to penalties, and I do them every single time in training, so it was more automatic. But as I said, I felt confident, and it just didn't work out.
Let us talk through West Ham a little bit, because that game went really well. I'd imagine on your side, you were up 5-0 until all the way to the end of the game. But talk us maybe through the first part of the game, and then we'll talk a little bit about the 2 goals at the end.
Yeah, I think we started the game really, really well. We scored an early goal, which always helps, as you know. We stuck to the game plan, and we were very patient out of possession, and then used, I guess, our quality in possession to hit them really, really fast when we did regain the ball. I think we just did a lot of things really well that day. We were speaking before the game in the huddle that we wanted to do, I guess, the easy things, the simple things really, really well. And we did. And that's how we went up 3-0 at halftime.
And that's the nicest part of football, isn't it? The easy things, which are probably the most difficult to execute, because you always want to do more than the easy things.
Yeah, sometimes you want to have a huge impact and be that magical player, but I think sometimes if you do the simple things really, really well, it's got a very, very good foundation. And then those little spark moments, they add to the game. But you need to have that good, solid foundation to compete in every single game.
And then second half of the game, obviously, you scored another 2 goals, but you also conceded 2 goals right at the end of the game. Something to blame?
I think lapses in concentration, to be honest, because we could have defended those goals better, and we could have made sure to not concede at all, because they weren't unreal, amazing goals where you put your hands up. It's just we have to blame ourselves for that, for not defending consequently until the very, very end.
And you played your first 90 minutes in pre-season. How did that? How did you feel? How did your body react? Are you on the way of getting ready for a season to start?
I think so, yeah. I've had 4 weeks to build that load, I guess.
Well, you never stopped us the way you told us.
Yeah, that is very true. I guess I have to say, to build into game minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a kind of slow, steady build. I felt really, really good. Even in the last moments, I wouldn't say fresh, but I felt good to continue the game at a high physical level kind of thing. I am fairly sore today, but that was to be expected. Ask me after the flight today, because when we land tomorrow, I will be stiff, I can tell you.
Another long trip to take. But are you happy to go back? So at the end of holidays, you normally say, it's been a great time, but I'm really looking forward to getting back.
Yeah.
What's your mindset?
I'm very much looking forward to getting back in my own bed. Also, to be very honest, I really struggled with the time difference. Not the jet lag, but just being in touch with my family. It was so difficult. It was a bit easier with Dad. He obviously works from home, and therefore I can ring him pretty much whenever I want to. But for all of you that I guess have a normal job and at normal times, it was very difficult to keep in touch, and I felt challenged by that. So I'm looking forward to getting back into almost the same time zone, I guess. I just love being at home as well. I'm looking forward to seeing my friends again when I return. I really, really enjoyed the trip. And in terms of, I guess, the support we got out here, and interacting with the fans, the way the games went, it probably went better than I could have imagined. But I am still very excited to be back home very soon.
Was the fan base as expected? Because I remember, I think Janina said, I wasn't aware there was any fans out here. Was it more than you'd expected?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a fan event just kind of near the hotel, where all 4 teams that competed in the tournament came out and had a few of the players come, and the mascots and whatnot, and each had a little stand. And obviously, because it was close to the hotel, we sent the whole team. So all of us went, and it was amazing how many Leicester fans we met. It was incredible. And we almost built a very strong bond in these few days. I don't know if you saw at the games yesterday, they had massive signs and banners, and it was unreal how much support we as Little Leicester got. Obviously, the other teams did as well, but we're competing with big clubs, and we want to, as I mentioned before in an episode, we want to build that big club mentality. And you could see that is really growing. I was really surprised by the amount of support, and as a team we got really nice feedback from the organisers and the fans in terms of how, I guess, interactive we were with the fans, how much time we gave them, and I think that is really, really nice to take away with us.
Were you able to speak with any of the fans? How did that bond, or how did that fan base start for Leicester in Australia? Whereas you're still fighting to grow in the UK, right?
Yeah, and I think it's still also growing here, and that's just coming from the conversations we've had. We had open training sessions where we could meet and interact with the fans. Then we had the fan event, the one I just mentioned near the hotel, and then obviously at the game. And if you see the same people that you interact with quite closely at the open sessions, if you see them, I guess, 4 times in a very short period of time, you build that connection. Obviously, we asked, why are you a Leicester fan, and how did that come about? And a few had parents mainly that grew up in Leicester, and that support for Leicester just kind of carried down within the family. Some people had never been to Leicester and didn't even know that they, I guess, wanted to support us, but getting to know as players as people, I think we gained a few fans through that. And it was actually a really special trip in that sense.
And did you also speak to the Leicester management and so on? So have they given feedback on the trip? What's planned for the future? Have they seen the value of trips like this?
I haven't spoke to them, but I'm pretty certain that they realised how well this trip went for us. And I'm almost certain that something like that will happen again in the very near future.
Maybe it's not so far away and we can come as well.
Yes, whether it's Australia or not, it's obviously a different question, but I'm pretty sure a trip like that with the team in pre-season will happen again in the coming years.
So you get home day after tomorrow, if that's right. You leave today, get home tomorrow?
We leave. Yeah, again, we're travelling in different groups. My flight leaves at 2 a.m, so basically I'm only flying tomorrow. So I leave tonight, tomorrow morning, and I get in Tuesday night.
And then when do you go back to training? What's the process of getting all this jet lag and control? I can't imagine you've been big on your sleep schedule as you were before you came. And normally the trip back is harder, isn't it?
I've heard different opinions. I'm pretty certain that the trip back in terms of jet lag should be easier. We are back on a sleeping schedule.
Maybe it's from the US where you come the different way. Yeah. It's the other way around.
Yeah, so back from the US is always harder. Back from Australia, I think, is easier. We are, again, on a sleeping schedule. So my first flight tonight or tomorrow morning, whenever that is, I'm not allowed to sleep, so Lord help me. I've got enough podcast stuff downloaded to do, so don't you worry. But yeah, we're back on the sleeping schedule because when we arrive Tuesday night, we're back in training Wednesday morning.
Oh, wow. Okay. But it must be a light session, right?
Oh, absolutely. It will be a light session. The injury risk is so high. We had to, however, put this session in because if we had a few days off after that, we wouldn't have a session for roughly a week because we played yesterday. There was no session today. There won't be a session tomorrow because of travel. And if we didn't have Wednesday and Thursday, we'd only train again on Friday.
Yeah.
So we had to put this, it will be a very light technical session, but we had to put the session in because we're then off for 2 days after that. They know the importance of being off. So they did give us 2 days off. We just had to squeeze that session in.
And talking about injuries, did everyone stay fit and injury-free in Australia?
We had a few niggles. We had a player travel with an injury, but she managed to rehab and most likely will be available for minutes for the next friendly. She was very close to being available for minutes yesterday. We picked up another niggle, but nothing too serious. I think
that's
we managed
also great
really,
to have everyone
really...
back fit and
yeah,
on the
absolutely.
pitch when you get back to Leicester.
Yeah, I think with a trip like that, we did really well. And I say we as like the players, but the medical team, to keep everyone fit as much as possible. As I mentioned, we picked up a fair few niggles and we're going home with an extra niggle, but the injury was so high after the travel and then the close games, and it's that stage of pre-season. So I think we came away with it in a very positive state.
Great. Thank you very much for this update. I hope you did have a lovely time. We said before you went, really enjoy it, and it sounds like you all did. And you put in the performances, so great. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it was quite a successful trip. Not everything was rosy, but it won't ever be like that. That's just life. But from a promotion point of view, I think we did a great job and it was such a success. And then on the pitch, I think the results spoke for themselves.
Great. Sounds amazing. And just one last point. You talked about not being in touch. You haven't asked me about my first part of a triathlon.
That is very true. Everyone, I messaged my family yesterday. It must have been in the middle of the night. And I messaged them and I said, by the way, if you wake up in time, we are playing tonight. Or it was morning for Ollie and the family. And Ollie messaged back and said, I am awake, but I'm doing my first triathlon.
Yeah.
So cute. And
So,
everyone, he smashed it.
Don't
Ollie,
get this
tell
wrong.
everyone about your triathlon.
Don't get this wrong. I didn't do a full triathlon. What we did was we split it up into 3. I swam. A friend of ours did the bike, and Dor, my wife, did the running. And we did really well. So we only trained for a couple of weeks. I'd never swam for 700 meters my whole life. And we did that yesterday in this river. I was really positively excited and up for it.
Good.
But being in the water around a lot of professionals who swam really fast, but you're in this huddle of, I think we're around 300 people. And when they all start swimming, you feel like you're drowning because there's water everywhere. I wasn't the best swimmer anyway. So I started off freestyle and I went in the wrong direction. But then I did breaststroke and I got there all right. And I did it in 14 minutes. And when I trained, I did it in 18 minutes. So I did really well for myself. And then the bike ride was faster than we expected. The run was faster than we expected. And we still turned in second to last. But
it was more about completing the first one, wasn't it?
More about completing and competing. But yeah. I think I've made the decision I'm going to go and get myself a proper bike and do the full triathlon next year. So we'll see how that goes. But it was just really lovely to see this togetherness in the triathlon to compete. And I say second to last because this was in the, I don't know what you call it, but the people who split it up, there was 23 teams and we were second to last there. But we were way before a lot of the people who did the triathlon by themselves. The last one who came in, so we needed 1 hour 49 and the last one who came in was about 3 hours and 30 minutes. Guess how old he was?
Oh, he must have been like 78 or something like mad.
87.
Oh!
And he did it.
That's incredible.
Yeah. He
That's
did
incredible.
it, and he's been doing it the last couple of years, and he said he's going to be there next year. So hat off to him. It was a great experience, and maybe then I hope I'll beat him next year, but we'll see how it goes.
I just need to comment on this real quick because Ollie just by accident lied to you guys. When Ollie and I went to Spain to dance, he made me, and I'm not joking. Dad's got a pool. What is it, Ollie? 12 meters by 4 meters.
12 meters by 4 meters.
Max.
Yeah. He
made me. Why I agreed to this, I don't know. Swim in a circle for 15 minutes because, with him, and did we swim opposite ways? I can't remember.
No.
Anyways, we swam in a circle for 15 minutes because Ollie said, am going to go
It was actually 19 and a half because we did the 750 meters about, and my groin started to hurt. That was the first time I swam these 750 meters. My groin hurt so bad. I'm not going to.
Yeah, so he had practiced it before, and he made me swim in a circle with him for 750 meters in a 12 by 4 meter pool.
And so the success is part of yours then.
Oh, yeah, thanks. No, I'm just your training buddy in summer swimming in a circle. But I'm glad you not only are still alive because Dad was really worried, everyone.
He was?
He told you. He was like, Ollie, I know you're quite a decent athlete, but this is real life. You can't just stop. You have to keep swimming. I don't know why he said that because, of course you know that. Yeah. But Dad was so worried that you would actually drown.
Yeah, he was happy when I called him last night. I said, Dad, I'm still alive. I made it. He sounded pretty relieved. So let's see how it goes next year.
I don't know why he was so concerned. But you made it and you smashed your time and the three of you smashed your times. So overall, a great day for you guys.
Yeah, it absolutely was. So that's the end of this episode. Thank you for asking, Soph. I'll see you next week.
You're very welcome. Thanks everyone for listening and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.